Father, for once again for having spiritual eyes and celestial eyes, be able to tell me to be in the world but be not of it. So paying attention but not really falling for it. So fallen, drop, follow, fall. I don't know. All these people are doing the same thing. It seems like I don't know. Ever since the whole, we'll put it here. Ever since the whole earmark. So, anyways, thought I'd come back on here for a little bit. It's cooled off a little bit out here. Finally down to the 80s. So still a little hot. Cabin's a little warm still, but not as hot as it was. Thought I'd come back on here for a few before the end of the night. Old puppies are hot over there, aren't they? Yeah, puppies are pretty hot. But pick your brains on this. See if you're falling for the silliness of this whole race, right? To the selection. You're racing to a predetermined outcome. How could that be a race? So if they already know who's going to win the race, then is that really a selection or an election? That's a selection, isn't it? Still blood related to the queen, still blood related to the purple. So I don't know. Biden gets away with it, doesn't he? Who ran the cover for him? Who ran cover for Creepy Joe? You haven't heard that in a long time because everybody's been talking about him being all sleepy, huh? Something's wrong with him. Oh, my God, he's sleepy. You haven't heard that? Yeah. Somebody ran cover for the guy. Never once you're going to hear him calling him creepy, huh? I don't know anybody else that's talking about that either. So that's what I'm saying. I give glory to the Father for discernment. So to be set apart and not to fall for the nonsense. It doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't add up. Follow the money is what my dad taught me. So it's pretty obvious to see what's going on here. So you could follow it. You could follow it all the way to Ukraine if you'd like. That'll give you a couple, I don't know, $100 billion. So, but either way, thought I'd see if so who no presidential could see Mr. Biden do their whole back and forth. How come he never talks about balancing the budget anymore? I'm saying spending. It's just talking about all these hundreds of billions of dollars sent to Ukrainians. If you follow the money, follow the trillions of dollars. How about 100 days and $1 trillion they print right now is what that's the rate of spending right now with this administration. And how much you want to bet when the next administration comes in, it won't change. Nothing changes. It doesn't matter if it's red or blue, a donkey or an elephant, the same related to the queen candidate gets selected. So you might have a choice, but look at this year, not a choice of a whole. Who are they going to replace this Creepy Joe with? Who will you never find calling Joe Biden creepy? Because then you'll figure out who ran cover for him. How are we doing? Thanks for welcome back. Who ran cover for the guy? Somebody ran cover for the guy. Remember, he couldn't keep his hands and his nose to himself. That all got forgotten, huh? Don't you remember the gate? Something about somebody's going to go get some pepperoni pizza or something like that. Don't you remember that whole, trust the plan deal? If anybody would have, remember that whole deal? So Mr. can't keep his nose and his hands to himself. Who can never send me a video of a man saying that? I'll tell you, he was one of those presidential candidates at one point in time. Hint. So somebody ran cover and called him sleepy instead of creepy. Isn't that kind of crazy how they just all forgot like overnight, and it's been almost 4 years since the gate, the whole, Billary and the whole, trust the plan, gonna drain the swamp, gonna have a special investigation, I'm gonna put Billary in prison. How many hundreds of millions of dollars? I don't know, thousands, I don't know, tens of thousands, millions. How much did he make on that whole Hillary for prison? I mean, come on, I've done graphic design. I have media in my background in college, so I know, my family's in advertising and all that, marketing, sports marketing. How much buttons and banners and websites, and she sat 3 bodies away from, I'm giving away who it is, huh? Yeah. That's who ran cover. Tango, all done. And that's creepy to me. How you can't find that guy one single time, and then he's going to get selected potentially now as the next pretendant, right? The mass murderer in chief. That's what you're voting for, a red mass murderer or a blue mass murderer. Which one do you like? Which one are you going to give your authority to? Well, don't, but remember what I was saying? The whole thing where, all this was going to happen, and then, trust the plan, and then nothing ever happened. And then, he added to the swamp. And then, so how come we don't ever find Mr. Thump, and all their thumpsters calling him, they're like, let's go, Brandon, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? That's all I'm saying. I'm just trying to point out history to you, historical record. That's the way it's going to go down. Not going to find Mr. 58-story tower saying, hey, this guy's, can't keep his nose or his head. He's one of those pizza under the gate, right? Right? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They're in together. They're 2 pedophiles in a pod. Yeah, pedophile in a pod. Right? Is that right? Oh, 2 peas in a pod. That's what it is. Yeah. Island boys is what they are. Yes. Harris. Oh. Really? You guys, this is getting a little out of control. But if you read in scripture, it talks about the women. The women. There's a time of the women. Is this the time? Is this that time that it talks about? Or is it for the final? Well, in a series, there'll be a series of drumps. Yeah, drumpf, right? Delta, Romeo, uniform, Mike, Foxtrot, Papa. Or, yeah. Oh, no, Papa, Foxtrot. Yeah, drumpf. Well, just so you know, it's not Mike, it's Reggie. So everybody gets that. It's not Michael either. So it's Reggie. Yep. Oregon State Beaver. I know. I'm in that state. That's where I live. He came here, Mr. O'Vomit Barry, Mr. 44. He came here twice to this state, and he never once visited Otson. Went to Reser Stadium twice. I wonder why. Isn't that where Reggie played? Yeah. That's why Mr. Thump and Mr. Barry have the same thing in common, because they're both have 3-headed ladies or 3-head height ladies. Right? 3 head heights. What do you mean? Oh, 7 or 8 head heights. I don't know. Are their shoulders wider than their hips? You tell me. Seriously, start doing some, if they'll throw you in the dirt 1,000 years from now, I don't care what you identify as. No, you can put your purse on, might still be hanging around the beaded necklace around your neck where they say, hey, that's a dude, because they can tell by your skeletal structure. Men and women are portioned completely different. So they're 2 peas in a pod. That's what I said. Yeah, Mr. Drumpf too. Is it Ivan or is it male? Ivan the Terrible, or is it Melina? You tell me. Which one? I don't know. You tell me. But I can tell you that they've both been to the island. Yes, they have. Mm-hmm. Why would you name your phone or the airplane after something like that too? Interesting how history is going to unfold, and you can't hide any of these things from the Father. Yeah. And the same thing with Mr. 45. So you know, Ryan. So you know, start doing the comparison. The eyes don't lie. Get it? Yeah, it's a tell. Your eyes will tell you whether I'm a prior military law enforcement and military police officer. And when I served in law enforcement, a man could not search a woman. A man cannot search a woman. I had to be able to identify the difference between a male and a female according to structure. Structure. Yes, we're portioned different. Men and women are not portioned the same. No, we're not. We're portioned completely different. Even in the military, when I was in the military, women have different standards in the military, physical standards, because we're not built the same. Let's not forget, just because you put lipstick on a pig, it doesn't mean I'm going to kiss it and makes it pretty. I don't eat pork. No, thank you. I'm not going to kiss that pig. I don't care if you put high heels, to put a brooch necklace, big shoulder pads, whatever, try to hide. It's not going to change that a man has 3. See these shoulders? See that? That's the end of my shoulder, 45 degrees in a standard field sobriety test. That means I have a whole nother head. 3 of them, because I'm a man. And even if I identify as something else, they throw me in the dirt 1,000 years from now, I'm still going to be a man because my shoulders are wider than my hips. And I have 3 head heights. I'm built like a man. What do you know? So you can go ahead and eat bacon. It's not, I just choose not to. It's just my personal preference. It's slow energy, and you can eat whatever you want. We're not under that testament. There's only 2 houses, and we're not under that anymore. So we eat everything on this earth. It's just my personal preference. So I don't do a lot of things. I don't try not to avoid sugar. I don't even drink coffee with creamer or anything in it anymore. Drink a lot less coffee. Try to stay away from all sugar together. Sugar's poison. I don't drink soda. I don't smoke cigarettes. There's just a lot of things I don't do that I used to do at one point in time. So pork is one of those. And but eat all the pork you want to eat. It's just not for me. But anyways, it's not what goes in a man that defiles a man or a woman. It's what comes out of them. So, you know what, Ryan? I figured out that I drink a lot less coffee. I quit putting that stupid, awesome, amazing creamer in there. That stuff is like, whoa, you need to put sugar in there when you put some of that creamer in there. Whoa. But I quit doing that altogether. So, yeah, when they threw me in jail. Yeah, but we're not under that testament anymore. Try to remember, Hoover, that was only 2 houses. Are you related to the house of Levite? Are you Levite? Are you under the Levitical law, the dietary law? Are you under, good for you, Martello. Outstanding. Good stuff, man. Outstanding. You feel better? I feel better when I don't. I feel like I have more energy. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. I want to try to be the best, not above, but the best that I can be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only here for so long, and my treasure, my reward is in heaven. So I'll have my cake later, if you will, because I don't do none of that anymore. I don't eat cake. I never did cake. I wasn't a big cake person. Ice cream, something I got to be in the mood for. Some of these things, like I said, I used to definitely eat a lot more sugar. Definitely try to stay away from sugar and cut sugar out of your diet, guys. That's something I will tell you need to stop eating. Is sugar is poison. It lowers your pH. We're supposed to be more pH neutral. That'd be 7.0 pH. Alkaline would be 7.0 or above, or pH acidic. That would be the lower side of alkalinity. Would be acidic would be 6.9 or below. And so the Wolfpack lifestyle, nice. those sugars are, processed sugars, exactly. They're sugars that we can eat. Because remember, when we eat a carbohydrate like a starch, like pasta, that turns to a sugar, and that's another thing. That's why people wonder why they have such problems with their diet. Breads, those all turn to carbs. Those all turn to sugars. So, whiskey and scotch is good in moderation. A little bit of whiskey, a little bit of scotch is not going to hurt you, not at all, in moderation. But definitely there are natural fruits that we get plenty of, that we should be natural sugars from things like, again, fruits, and there are certain vegetables or other, there are things where we can get natural sugar. So when I grew up, having a soda or something like that, it was a treat. You didn't buy 6-packs and half racks and all these. It's ridiculous how much soda I used to drink. Going to the soda shop, having a candy bar was something you just didn't shove down your face and eat in one sitting. Stag beer has no sugar. Nice. See, there you go. There you go. There's another, so, and a lot of people drink too many beers. A beer or two is okay. In my eyes, my son he's 25 now. He was only, 22 when he saw me drink my first beer. He never seen me. It's not a thing, but I moderate. If I drink 1 or 2, that's all I have. I don't try to ever drink more than 2 beers or 2 maybe shots or something. So, but it's moderation, and because too much of that is more sugars, and that's a lot of people struggle a lot because they drink a lot. Alcohol is another one that's just too much sugar in it. They start drinking it with mixing it with soda and all these other, sugars as well, and they wonder why they got hangovers and why they got all this weight gain. But either way, our body's a temple, and again, I know it's hard to cut sugar, guys. Sugar is it's just a hard one to kick, guys. I understand. So we're so used to eating with all these stupid holidays that they have now. Holidays are sugar related, guys. Everything is over sugared. Like I said, all your holidays is based on extra cakes and extra treats and extra sugars. And will alcohol not be in there in the end? No, alcohol will be there. Dollar views, because people always barter alcohol, and fermentation is a process that naturally will occur under the right parameters, as long as it's not too hot or too cold, right? If you're lukewarm, I'll vomit you from my mouth, he said, because you'll be drunk in the spirit. So there'll always be alcohol because there'll always be fruit, and fermentation is the process. So either way, no, there'll always be alcohol, and so in the end is I don't know when that is. We're not advice for me be quit my job and become a teacher. Oh, I don't know about that, Ben. Teachers don't make any money, man. Teachers make very little money. And I think they're underpaid. Got jury duty tomorrow. Oh man, that sucks. Be a good juror, I guess. Remember, you can't convict somebody. The state has the burden of evidence beyond a reasonable doubt, and you can't convict somebody if there's any doubt. So don't go there being a one-man wrecking ball. Well, yeah, exactly. So make sure I don't know what your jury trial is for, but that's one of the good things about the system that we have, is that there is a judicial, a legislative, and an executive branch. There are checks and balances that are supposed to be in this country, and a jury is one of those things. It's more of a kangaroo court in this day and age. Very few people go to a jury trial as a whole. Depends where you're at, Ben. That's okay, cool. Like I said, some places 80,000. The average home in Oregon, in Bend, Oregon, where I live, I don't live in Bend. I live in a much cheaper place than Bend, is $800,000. It just went up again. So you're talking about $1 million. How are you going to pay that? How that that 80,000 is you're not going to be able to get in the average home in Bend, Oregon. So I don't know, but other places, like I just keep seeing some of these places like Tennessee and Kentucky and Oklahoma and stuff. They have, did you ever use THC? Is it biblical? Yeah. Do I ever use THC? I still use THC because THC, cannabis, is medicine. Your body is literally your immune system. What they give that to people who have autoimmune deficiency syndrome. It's what boosts your immunity. When you die of AIDS, you don't die of AIDS. You die because your immune system becomes weakened. And I use it as medicine. Okay, that's how I use it, as medicine. It's medicine to me. So I don't take drugs. I don't put drugs in my body. Drugs kill people. Alcohol can kill you. Caffeine can kill you. Nicotine can kill you. Heck, I got water in this bottle of ice water. I drink more water than anything. Too much water. 2 extra tablespoons of water will put you in the dirt. Remember? So, but I use it as medicine, and I don't try not to overuse it in that sense. And I'm a veteran. I broke my back in the military. I busted it again in a car accident. They wanted to cut on me, do surgery on me. They've put me on all kinds of that stuff, all those pain pills, and I don't want them. They forced me to take them because I was a single dad at the time that this was happening in my life. So I couldn't take them. It wouldn't be all drugged up on Percocet and OxyContin and be driving my son trying to operate not heavy equipment, but a landscape company. It just wasn't feasible. And so they ended up trying to, get me in some kind of trouble because I wasn't taking these pills, claiming that I was buying them, but I actually taken video footage of me flushing them down the toilet. So anyways, they made me take them, and I'd never felt any worse in my life. Way worse. I felt way worse. I'd rather go through the pain that I go through every single day and take OxyContin or Percocet or nortryptophan, or what's the other one that they have me on, the one if you come off or something too, you'll die or whatever. I don't know. They had me because I'm prone to seizures because my back, I've really messed myself up pretty bad, guys. Physically, my back is pretty bad, but I'm still walking. And I choose not to use it. And I did. And I've never felt any worse, honestly, guys, in my whole entire life than when they made me take those pills. Because I had to actually, move out of my house, which I had a nice place, really nice place, live with my son. I was a single dad. And out of 5 kids, my mom had 5 kids. I had to move back. I was the last one. They thought it would be the first one to move back, but I was actually the last one to move back with my mom because I just couldn't physically, I couldn't do it anymore. I was having too many actual back problems at the time, but I did not want them to cut on me and have surgery. I was a single dad, and I remember seeing my son going into the, Coburg Slocum building at Dr. Phillips when he said, "All right, Tracy, that's enough. You got 6 months and you're done. You've broke your back now again, and I can't cut on you, or I can't give you cortisone because I can potentially cripple you. You're way too bad. You need 2 surgeries. Your S1 and your S2 have been broken. The 2 discs between the 2 are gone, degenerated, crushed. You've been through this whole leaking disc, the thing, all the EMGs, the electromagnetograms, all the MRIs, all this stuff, the 3 car accidents you got in, you're just no more. You're going to have to stop. You can't, you're a single dad. I know it. If I give you these shots, you're going to just go back out and break your back again. So nope, I'm scheduling you for back surgery. If you don't stop, you got 6 months, you're not going to be able to walk. And I remember my son coming out of the building that day. And my son looked at me and he said, "Dad, he said you're never going to be able to walk again." I said, "Son, I'll be all right." And he said, "But Dad," he said, "you have to have surgery." And I said, "No, I don't have to do anything, son." That's what he said, that, that's what Dad needs. But I can't, right now, son, I got to take care of you, and, I'll make it work. And he was scared, guys. And it scared me so much and freaked me out that I moved out of the state of Oregon with my son. And here I am. That's been 10 years ago or something it's been a long time, guys. So, but I'm telling you, what has helped me is moderation of cannabis. And it helps take the edge off of my nerve pain, and it helps me to function when I need it. And I take it when I need it, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. So does it cure my pain? No. Did pain pills cure my pain? No. But does it help with my nerves? Yes. Does it help with my diet? Yes. Does it help me get sleep? Absolutely. That's when I need the cannabis, is at the end of the night. You know, after I've worked, like Ryan said, you see these hands, these are my hands, that's what's kept me, and by the glory of God, my undying faith for the Father that is me upright to keep going and know that he keeps these hands moving and this back going. And, you know, I was just, before I started this stream, like, man, I don't know if I could do this because my back hurts bad. I don't dream because I don't sleep like that, guys. I don't, you know, I only get a couple hours sleep. If I didn't use cannabis, like I said, I'd have a lot of problems, more sleeping. I had a lot of problems with my diet. So it's not a cure-all. Doesn't fix anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Please stay away from, the vapes and stuff like that. You guys, they're really getting really bad. Stay away from your dispensaries now. I voted no for no legalization because I've been a medical cannabis grower myself, legally, an OMMP, Oregon Medical Marijuana Program, full card, myself as a patient grower with 3 patients. I did not want recreational. Okay. I would stay away from all that dispensary stuff. I would stay away from all that. It's just gotten bad, guys. You know, use your own medicine if you can, or know your own grower, and make sure that they're not using any kind of chemicals. Teas are okay. Nutrients are okay. You know, I don't mean to go there because I don't like calling it, but it's a weed. It doesn't need to be overdone. It'll do what it'll do. And it needs to be, it's a woman, it's a female. It needs love. The attention it needs, it'll tell you. If you know what you're doing, it'll tell you what it needs. And each one of them is an individual, and it's a female, and not two are alike. So that's the problem with recreational, is that they just grow it intense, and they've turned it into a drug, and all these extra vapes and dabs and all these things have wrecked it. And you can't get sativa anymore. And it's very hard to get. And that's the kind of cannabis that really helps me during the day when I need it, so that I'm not, stuck on dumb or crippled or whatever call with the indica, where I need that sometimes at the end of the night, so my nerves will settle, so I can sit down and relax and not be so in pain that I start, get sciatic. Cannabis keeps me from getting sciatic, guys. So does it cure my sciatica when I have it? No, but it helps me when I come out of my sciatic and can get myself somewhat normal again. So I don't like the idea of this medicinally going away and not being medicinal. And that's what's happened to recreational cannabis, is it's gone away, and you've turned it into a drug now where they're growing it in tents. And you don't grow 100 plants in a tent. You grow them one at a time, each one. This one doesn't want to be next to the fan. This one doesn't want to be next to another lady. This one needs to be touching the lady. This one likes touching the wall. This one doesn't put me near that wall. You better put me close. I don't like being next to the light. I got to be next to the light. They all have an individual. If you've ever had a lady, they'll tell you. If you know how to communicate with them, they'll tell you what they need. If you're doing it right, they will. If not, some just tell you anyways. But brothers and sisters, that is what's happened with the cannabis industry. They just make it and mass produce it. And that's not the way this plant should be grown. It doesn't grow wildly. It grows, but they're individual, and they're ladies. If you try to remember everything you do to a lady, she'd be like, no, you're not getting any tonight, honey. Remember 5 years ago? 5 years ago, honey. Are you serious? Yeah, they remember everything. And anything you do to that plant, it's going to remember. Will. So, and they don't all need watered at the same time. No, they don't. They don't, they don't all act the same. They're not the same. You can do similar things with them, but they don't act the same. And when they start growing these things and cloning, which is not an issue, they've been cloning since the beginning of time. And I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about plants here, guys. You overdo it too, and you're going to lose it. It's just going to be overdone. I'm a seed grower. I believe in reseeding everything after 3 years or 3 cycles of a clone. Like I said, of growing it, I just take anything back and reseed it and restart the genetics over again. And that's the way I was taught to do it. I'm an old school, what you'd call hippie grower. I don't use anything but nutrients. Like somebody said in the room, I think it was Iceman. I don't want to give away somebody's gift, but always play ladies for them. Always lots of air circulation. They're alive, and if you talk to them, that they'll tell you what they need. And if they have an issue, it's not that hard to figure it out if you don't overdo it. But most people, they just overdo it, and that's the problem too that I have today, guys. Is when you start growing too many plants. And you start losing track of what's generations what. Oh, well, who cares? We'll just give it this name or just name it that, or it's just almost been wiped out, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just been, as far as a lot of this recreational, unless you've just got a good dispensary or something, I don't trust dispensaries anymore. And I don't care what state you're in. I am in Oregon, which probably had the best medical marijuana program in the nation, hands down. Really, we really did. I participated as a medical grower for many years out here, and Department of Human Services headed it, and I wasn't, into that agency, but we didn't have the feds here. And as a medicinal cannabis grower, I would make sure that my patients were given their medicine at no charge. It was all about the patient, not the grower. It was about the program providing patient medicine at no charge to the patient. Oh, yeah. So these new growers didn't like me when they came in. All these dispensers, they're like, whoa. I'm like, no, I'm growing their plants. I'm placarded. I have their paperwork showing that their 4 plants are my plants. No, they're their plants, not mine. You know what I'm saying? They're not my plants. They're their plants. You know what I'm saying? And that when I grow that, I'm growing theirs, and I have the ability to I can't go back after rent, but I have soil, I have nutrients, I have lights, I have electricity. I can recoup my costs. And so I can to other growers before recreational, I could use and take donations for my cannabis, but I would give my patients 2 to 3 ounces of cannabis at no charge every month. And then if I had edibles that I'd made or something else, I'd made sure that they always had the best medicine and a variety of medicine. I didn't just grow one strain. I would grow what strain that was working for whatever ailment they have. There is sativa. There is a medicinal. I grow with a microscope, guys. I look at this medicine and I grow. I'm a trichome farmer. When I grow, and I'm not growing currently and have it for years, but I grow trichomes. That's the medicine. That's what medicates your body is trichomes. The rest of it is just a platform. I don't care what it looks like. I care what it tastes like. I care what it smells like. And I care how it medicates myself or my patient. Do you understand? That is how you grow this plant. It's grown individually at a level differently than most of the way it's grown now. And people have lost that old way of growing, have lost the old way, because here in Oregon, my job as a grower, because I was a grower patient, was not only to provide myself, but also with having 3 patients, because I was allowed to do 3 patients and myself have 4, which means that I could have 4, 8, 12, 16 plants in my garden at any given time. And I've never grown any more than that. I've never had to grow any more than that because I'm not trying to grow large amounts of cannabis. I'm trying to grow the best quality cannabis that I can possibly grow for my patients. I grow medicinal and jar cure. Yes, all my cannabis, burped, holding exactly. So that I'm providing them the best medicine that I can because there's their plants. That's what the OMMP program was about, providing medicinal cannabis to patients that needed medicinal cannabis, not this recreational crap, because that's not the same, guys. I don't like it. I just don't. It's not what I use. I know where mine is all grown. I know what's mine's used all the nutrients in my, but most people don't have access to that. So a lot of people now just fall for what's in these dispensaries. And that used to be the thing, guys. That used to be the thing, is you went to a dispensary knowing that there was no mites, no mold. It was all through testing. But things have gotten very loose in the cannabis industry, and we've lost, more importantly, we've lost the medicinal portion, which should have always been the most important thing. Making it now with the rescheduling, finally, they're putting this to rescheduling, because when it was a Schedule 1, it didn't have any medicinal purposes, which is insane. And how many states do we have with medical cannabis? You know what I'm saying? So, brothers and sisters, please be careful with these dispensaries now, especially with these vape pens. Okay, there's a lot of bad stuff going around in those pens. I don't even like the flower, let alone a lot of this dab, which I was very against at first, but I now see medicinally it has the right purpose. I don't do the dab thing where you heat up the rig and do all that. At the end of the night, I take a little piece of that and I put it on top of my flower. A little bit, it turns something into like a nice indica. If you don't have, something that strong, you could take a little bit of that, what they call, I only do the live resin is what that is literally cold pressed. No heat involved, no butane, none of that. I don't want none of that in my system. Oh, you're a snob. No, I'm not. I don't want that crap in my body. I don't want that. I don't care what the yield is. I want the medicinal terpenes. I want the original. I want it to be quality cannabis so that my body can continue to work hard. I don't lose my mind. I don't have these problems that a lot of people go, they're like, man, you're all over the place, but you sure seem to remember a lot of things. Like you yeah, it's because I don't put drugs in my body. Hello? You know what I'm saying? So please be careful. I really, cannabis is such a beautiful, look, guys, the oldest person they found frozen on this earth. The oldest person they found frozen. He has a satchel on the side of his hip, and he has the female cannabis plant in his bag. Okay, so we've been using. It's God's medicine. It's God's medicine. Remember the book of Genesis, he says if it bears seeds, it's here for us to consume. So obviously in moderation though, okay? In moderation, please. Don't overdo it. Cannabis works much better. Like a little THC with the CBD works like an adjuvant, and it makes your body absorb it so much better if you can, and you're in an area like in a state that you can actually, there's many other things with the medicinal rescheduling of cannabis. This is going to allow them to go expand out to all these other CBD, CBN, THC, THB, TCN, all of these other things that has not been allowed medicinally, brothers and sisters. It's a tragedy that a parent can have a child that cannot be taking something like Rick Simpson oil, and their child is literally experiencing grand mal seizures. Do you understand? Grand mal seizures. And they're one state over and they can't do anything about that. You have ever had a child or a daughter or a son or even a mom or a dad that has experienced a seizure like that? Sometimes, guys, they're sore for weeks. They feel like 5 people just beat them with a freaking soap and a sock, man. It's not easy to have that for your body to seize out. When you don't use those muscles, let me tell you, you're sore. And giving something to watch a child, more than anything, to watch a child experiencing grand mal seizures and giving some of these oils to come out of that seizing, that is, you cannot tell me that we should have ever, never not allowed, and that was one of the biggest things that I liked about Oregon is that we had a juvenile medical marijuana program. People, oh my God, you give weed to kids? First of all, stop calling it weed. It's cannabis. It's medicine. Okay. I don't call it marijuana. I don't call it weed. I don't call it, it's cannabis. Okay. Our body naturally produces cannabinoids in our immune system. Okay. So please be careful what you put in your body. Naturally, the plant has never killed anybody. Do you understand? Never. Now they've started making, then they've made hash and things since the beginning of time. But what they've done to this plant now, it's not the same. What we have taken this plant and done with it, it's not right, guys. It's gluttony in a lot of ways. And what has been restrained by this government, that's why I despise the federal government. I despise the federal government because it was still a Schedule I felony, which kept it from being medicinally researched, which is a tragedy because we could have had decades of research under our belt with, peer-reviewed journals, studies, testing. I am appalled. Oh, you're not going to give children's Tylenol? I wouldn't give that to a kid. But they don't have children's doses of medicine? Yes, they do. Stop with your nonsense. Children should be able to use cannabis as a medicine as well. And so it's appalling to think that this federal government has kept it a Schedule I felony for all these decades to make money off of it by throwing more people in prison for having, in some places like Idaho, a stinking seed, or even a little piece of resin in a pipe or something will get you, it's ridiculous, You can still use CBD, which is legal in all 50 states. But like I said, brothers and sisters, I don't know who got me started on this, but it is God's medicine. Please use it wisely. Please do not trust these dispensaries. There's a lot of bad stuff going around. Oh, somebody talked about a pen. Please be careful, especially with some of these pens, guys. I don't like to sit there and show off, but I recommend if you're going to get a pen, you get this pen right here. You get this particular pen. I don't know if it's old or new or whatever, how old. This uses I can take, this is magnetic because the first one I had was not magnetic and it was a screw on top and it didn't want to come off there. This one is magnetic. Okay. And you can put use flour or straight oil in this. And I told you, I only do live resin. So I can put live resin in this and have none of that propylene, none of that other stuff. Okay. It's made by, come on, eyeballs work. It's made by Evolve. And I don't know, it's made by Evolve. There was a name for it. It's a little dark in here, guys. Remember, I'm kind of working off one eye too, guys. Now my eye got screwed up, and so I got a lot of problems with my right eye now. It's called the UCAN, and you can use this for just flour or oils, dab, live resins, or whatever. And you're not burning any of that other crap. Stay away from those dispensaries, guys, please. UCAN. Yep, that's what it's called, the UCAN. And like I said, this one's magnetic. That's what I liked about this one. The other one was a smaller one because I'm moderate, but then I had to screw the top on and because I used it for flour at first. And then I changed because there's a different way you put in there for the oil. And then I couldn't hardly unscrew the lid off of the smaller one. This one, again, I think I got a little bit too much oil in, or I haven't heated it up, but this is magnetic, so it doesn't screw on the top, and a lot of the times it comes off real easy. Yeah, I think it a little bit too much oil on it last time or something. So just please be careful, though, Hoover. Please be careful, okay? There are ways like this. Yeah, I'm a veteran. I'm a prior military veteran there, Dollar. So I served in the 90s. I was a 95 Bravo, and I was a military police in the military. So, but anyways, guys, that's another one, too. I think our soldiers should have access to cannabis. And that's another thing, too. I think our jails, you know, they sneak everything into prisons, guys. They sneak everything into prisons. But I think people in jail and in prison, since the rescheduling, should have access to cannabis. Now, I don't mean they should be able to get it in their hands, because you know them. They'll start trading it and selling it, and because that's the way it works when you're locked up, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about everything you do, like when you take a pill in jail, it has to be monitored. Let me see your tongue, lift up your tongue, right? Everything, and they still get by, okay? People in jail always, if there's a will, there's a way. But I think people should be able to literally smoke it. I'm not talking about some synthetic Marinol. I'm talking about the actual sitting down and partaking. Individually, I think as a group would be a better idea. But if individually it needed to be, people could see how it would work. Because when I just got locked up in jail for 2 weeks, I had no access to my medicine, guys. None. And I'm not taking nothing else. I don't take nothing. I don't care if I'm dying, I'm not taking it. I'm not. It says in my medical records, do not give me pain pills. Do not. I'll sue you if you do. I don't care. Do not put it in my body. Don't put it in an IV. I don't want it. Nope. I don't care. Okay, so I don't want both of them in my body, either one or the other. I like, that's what Oregon said for quite some time in the state, where we'll give you one or the other. Perfect. Either get people off the pills, get them on cannabis. And I'm talking about pain pills, guys, not your heart medicine or some of these other things, okay? But again, I think that they should allow people in prison and in jails to use cannabis, monitored heavily the whole time. Like, all right, guys, you always got all to sit there and smoke up, and we're gonna watch you. We're filming now. Everybody, we get your roaches. Come on, nope, come on, or whatever, however way they wanted to do that. I bet you it'd be a good thing in jail. I bet you it would. I bet you it'd make jails more peaceful. They'd be a more peaceful place. I guarantee you they would. They'd probably quit making so much of that, you know. So, but either way, I don't think that'll ever happen, but I think that should, guys. You know, we have more people locked up in America than all the other nations combined. That's right. This is the prison planet, like Alex Jones said. Crazy Alex Jones called Prison Planet. Yeah, this is the private prisons. Remember, they subcontract these prisons through like Halliburton and guaranteed 80% occupancy before they're ever built. Yeah, really. Yeah, more people locked up. So victimless crimes. I thought there had to be a victim for there to be a crime. The state's the victim? What? Get out of here. You know, the county's the victim. Some of this stuff is getting out of hand, guys. You know, so if they're going to lock people up, you can't treat them, you know, at least you should give them some access to some medicine. Because like myself, I got myself in whatever, I'm standing up for my son. They ended up throwing me in jail. But for 2 weeks, I didn't have any access to any cannabis. And I made it. It's fine. It didn't, you know, I wasn't withdrawing or anything. It's just kind of affected my sleep a little bit, but that was more because it kind of sucked my situation that the Father has got me going through here. It's very trying. It's fiery trials, brothers and sisters, is what he has me going through, and long suffering at this point. But if somebody had access to it like myself, it would have made my stay in jail a whole lot easier. So, but it's okay. Whether I have it or not, it's not a deal breaker for me. Like I said, I did fine without it or anything. It just would, like I said, been a little easier to be in there because they got access to all these other things in there. These people take all these other whatever, and I don't know if it's ever been considered, but maybe now that they're rescheduling cannabis to a Schedule 2, maybe they'll start allowing it into things like the military and, things like, I'm a commercial driver and I have a CDL. I haven't used it in many years, but I keep my CDL valid. That was, people are like, are you serious? You have a medical marijuana card and a commercial driver's license? Yeah, I don't drive right now, but I keep it valid, and if I was to drive, I wouldn't be using cannabis, I'd make sure I wasn't using cannabis. So, but things like that, I think drivers, CDL drivers and things like that should be able to use cannabis, and they can't have any access to cannabis because of the DOT testing and all the other things. So maybe with this rescheduling, like I said, they'll let up because there's, I think they've made all the money on cannabis that they can make as far as, illegally, and now through dispensaries and taxation, they're making up the difference. And so as long as they get their money, they'll be happy. But greed and the almighty dollar is what has destroyed cannabis in my eyes. So we'll change subjects here, but appreciate the subject. What really set me off on this, guys, is I've been reading a lot. I've been doing a lot of research on no, they're not going to pay for anything. Is that there's some stuff going around, guys, in these carts, the little, whatever they call those, carts or refills. Guys, there's some stuff going around. Now, listen, I don't want to go straight conspiracy, but I'm telling you, China's taking over. China is taking over even the cannabis industry, guys. Yes, they are. I'm in Oregon, and there's a lot of them here, guys. The cartel in California, but also the Chinese. And if you look into this, please look into your state if you have, recreational cannabis or medical cannabis. Are the Chinese in there starting to control the cannabis industry? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I really wish you'd pay attention to the way these things, they happen. They don't happen. They don't happen. They don't happen. All of a sudden they do. Or they happen slowly. They happen slowly. They happen slow. Oh, guys, Poland. Man, there's a lot going on in your country right now, Tom. Not everybody in China, okay? Let's say the CCP itself, okay? If we could, Hoover, okay? But there's a lot of good people in China, okay? Come on. I know that's not what you meant, but what I'm saying is that this, like our government, America, there's good people in America, and our government sucks, correct? There's good people in China, and the CCP sucks. You know what I mean? Saying so. Same thing with a lot of Iran. There's good people in Iran, guys. There's good people all over the world. Somebody just came in here for Poland. Look what's going on in Poland right now, guys. That's a tough place to be, man. They are really getting ready to. Boy, that's a breaking point right now. Poland is, you guys are in the, what did Biden say? The crosshairs? Careful with your verbiage there these days, guys. What you say, it could get you in trouble later, right? Careful, boy, the word police. But anyways, I do want people to be aware again of, that I think that there is something going on with these carts that's going to lead back to another country. And if they know they've got, 50-60% of Americans couch locked smoking indica pot, playing World of Warcraft or Call of Duty, why not? You've got them kind of isolated. Divide and conquer is a tactic of war that's been used by the Asian dynasty for thousands of years. Okay. I think edibles are definitely a safer way to go. I think, Hoover, one of the safest ways to go is edibles. Especially if you can get access and make them yourself. They're definitely a good way to intake cannabis. It's a different way to medicate your body. You don't get high. You don't get it doesn't work like that. And you can still medicinally, like I said, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not trying to get high. I'm not trying to get the medicinal portion out of the plant. I don't care about being high. And I've used cannabis too long to worry about, it's like if you take a can of snuff or something, the first time makes you lightheaded. After I don't know how many cans it takes before that doesn't do to you. When you smoke a cigarettes, you smoke away and make you lightheaded, almost throw up after a couple cartons. I don't know, you smoke for a couple, it doesn't do that to you anymore. Cannabis is very similar, brothers and sisters. It doesn't, now it works very good. If you don't use it a lot, it works excellent. And that's why I try to get people to don't overuse the medicine. Cannabis works great. It doesn't work for everybody though. Okay, guys, I want you to know that it does not work for everybody. Okay. It's not the cure all. Cannabis does not cure all cancers. It cures most cancers. They don't like that. Okay. So don't go around telling people it cures all cancers. It doesn't, but it does cure most. It does go out and it seeks the bad cancer cells, attacks them, destroys them, and it leaves the good cells behind, unlike radiation, which also kills the bad cancer cells, but also kills the good cells. And that's why people have so much things such as hair loss and have issues with chemo and things like that. So again, I want to move on in the subject, but I'm just because I know a lot of people use cannabis, and that's okay. I just, I think we should be using things naturally. Homeopathic medicine is a lot better than, the big farm guy who's always just basically trying to copy nature anyways, whether it be a piece of bark, a root, a tree, a flower. That's all the big farm guys trying to copy. Man doesn't make things better than nature. I don't want to hear that crap. We try, but we'll never make what God created anywhere. You can grow with 1,000-watt, bulb, but you're never going to have the 1,000,000-watt candle power sunlight. And I'm an indoor grower, guys. But my major concern, thank you for dropping those links, guys. You want to drop a link? I've got a CashApp. You want to support any of my work that I do. It does help with ADHD. I'm not into the whole labeling with ADHD, but I know people who have it and use it, and they say they function a lot better using cannabis, and they don't need a lot too. They don't generally. I'd find that people that have ADHD don't overuse good stuff. Yeah, I don't eat as much fruit, but I drink a lot of water. Let me tell you. But please be careful of these carts that are going around, because of what I've been researching, guys, and I'm trying to get, before I drop some more information on this, to confirm that's probably who this is that whatever they're putting in these guys, I'm telling you, it will mess you up. One hit of it, just one puff, one single puff off of this thing, guys. That means your buddy's like, hey, you want to take a dab? You don't want to hit off the dab pen? You're like, hey, yeah, one, guys. So please be very careful. Do some research. I think you'll find the information is out there that I'm talking about, and do your own research on this whole subject that we're talking about. Definitely consult your physician, so I can cover my own butt before you, partake in any of this type of either recreational or medicinal cannabis, because I don't need to get myself in trouble for anything. I already bring enough crap in my own life anyway. So, but I do stand up for God's medicine, which is cannabis. Why would they give it to people in their last moments of death? when they're about to die, to give them comfort before they die. Stop going around telling people that cannabis is a drug. Okay. Naturally, cannabis is always been around since the beginning of time. You were made from this corrupt dust. You naturally have cannabinoids in your immune system. You think maybe there was a little plant that he might have picked up with that dust when he made us from this corrupt dust? I'm not saying that's biblical. I'm not saying that's true. But why in the hell do we have a plant in our body? I'll rest my case. That's the reason why it's never killed anybody, guys, because we're made of it. It's what keeps our immune system strong, guys. That's why they don't want it legal and didn't want it for a lot of years. Doesn't help the big farm guy, does it? Doesn't cure everything, but it helps with a lot of things for a lot of people. So some people doesn't work at all. Okay. But I don't believe that the Father, oh my God, you use cannabis. You're not a Christian. You're not a, shut up with that crap. Stop it. It's not what goes in a man that defiles him. It's what comes out of a man. So stop it. You know, when I was young in faith, I used to feel guilty for using cannabis. Oh, you know, I felt bad about it, but still, and then I read, and then like I said, and I got over it. I figured that this is God's plan, and it's medicinal. And since the beginning of time, they used to burn it like myrrh and frankincense at the time of Christ. It's another than one of these things that's been hidden in Scripture. That yes, they used to burn, but cannabis is just like it's an antimicrobial, right, bacterial type of, just like a myrrh or a frankincense. It has medicinal value, and they used to burn it in the air, not literally in a bowl or in a cigarette, but like they would go in a tent, you know, or like that, and burn it, you know. Medicinally, cannabis is something that was burned very widely as well, and it always has since the beginning of time. This is another one of the things why I rebuke these ignorant churches that don't think that, you know, at the time of Christ they were not cannabis. Hello, Cush, you know, Ham, Shem, you know, Japheth. Come on, guys. Found in an Israelite temple. So I know it existed, guys. I've done my own research. I don't want to bring that into this subject, but do your own, and you'll find that they didn't sit there and smoke it to get high. They used it and burned it in the air because medicinally it has an amazing medicinal properties, just like they would burn myrrh and frankincense. Okay. That's what I'm asking you to look about. Okay. And you'll see too that you can find that they did burn cannabis at the time too. Not in a pipe. Okay. I don't believe it is a sin, but I prefer not to be around or use cannabis. Doesn't affect me. Well, I prefer to stay sober-minded. Okay, but cannabis doesn't have anything to do with sober-minded. When God is talking about being sober or drunk in the spirit, he's not talking about that. So sober-minded doesn't have anything to do with using cannabis. So bad choice of words, Zazzy, because you're acting like somebody's not sober-minded when they use cannabis, and that's 100% incorrect. But I do appreciate that you don't use it. Again, it's not for everybody. And if you don't want to have it in your body, that doesn't have anything to do with sobriety, though, being sober-minded. So I know people who don't use cannabis and they couldn't fight themselves out of a paper bag with a conversation. They you know, yeah, they'll go ahead and I'm not saying you or anything, but they'll take the jab and they act like a complete, you know, bumbling idiot. So, it's not of God. The world ruled by Satan. God is controlled. You know, feel a conviction in your spirit and understands. So it's not of God, brother. What's not of God? What are you talking about? I used cannibalism and read the word. Oh. Cool. But it doesn't have anything to do with, there's nothing. Don't sit there and think that God has anything to do with you smoking cannabis or not, or just leave my chat right now. I rebuke your idiocracy. God doesn't, the cannabis moderation. God is not going to, that has nothing to do with your salvation. So don't confuse the two, please. Don't come in here and put your, you can put your choice to use medicinally cannabis, but don't sit there and compare it to somebody's mind being sober, or like they're going to be in the grace of God because they moderately use it or not. You're highly confused, okay? Because you choose not to, that's your choice, but you're not in the grace of God by using it or not using it. If you're not using it medicinally and you're using it to get high or whatever, so that's different, you know? So I'm not talking about this. I've been talking about medicinal cannabis the whole time. So please don't confuse the two. I voted for non-legalization in my state, and I went around pushing non-legalization, and people didn't understand. You know, they didn't. They're like, wait a minute, you're a medicinal cannabis grower. How can you want to be recreational cannabis? I said, because that's not what this is. This plan is not about recreation. It's about medicine. It's a medicine. So please don't speak in ignorance on God's medicine and go around and say that God convicted your heart to not use it, and now you're some better man because you don't. You're not. That doesn't make you better or worse because you use medicinal cannabis or not. So thank you for your testimony. If you choose not to use it, that's great, but you're not a better man off because you did or you didn't. So either way, just don't please confuse, because like I said, I used to feel guilty. God convicted my heart to stop feeling guilty about using cannabis. So, you know, if I never used it again, it wouldn't change me at all. It wouldn't change. It just helps with, you guys have broken my back a couple times. You know, I've really wrecked myself a lot when I was young. I'm a military veteran, a prior law enforcement officer. I wasn't very nice to myself when I was young, and wasn't, you know, involved in multiple car accidents, you know, major 5-car pilots. And cannabis helps with my not to ever have had surgery. And they wanted to cut me open and reconstruct me and do back surgery, and I've never had that. That was 10 years ago. And does it cure my life? No, it doesn't, like I said. But does it help with my sciatica? Yes, it does a lot. It does help so that I don't get that sciatica going. It helps kind of just ease and neutralize. So please never confuse medicinal cannabis with recreational overusage of God's medicine, and ever testify that you're some kind of better person because you use or you don't use cannabis. Don't want to hear it. I don't. I appreciate your testimony, but don't sit there and make somebody feel like because they're using medicinal cannabis because they're choosing not to go to the big farm guy and take some kind of synthetic drug, that most people don't feel very convicted about doing that, do they? They'll go to the big farm guy and then point their finger at somebody who uses medicinal cannabis and call them a drug user, huh? But they've got a whole medicine cabinet stuff. So, you know, appreciate the testimony. I don't want to. Again, it's God's plants, God's medicine. Don't sit there and ever compare your spiritual beliefs and your conviction of your using moderately that's going to get you in or out of the graces of God. It's not. Never. We're all filthy rags, and none of us are worthy of his kingdom. But thanks for your, and if God convicted your heart and you feel better because of that, I don't want to take that away from you at all. Not at all. Hallelujah. God does. He rebukes us, guys. And if it does, whoever gave that testimony and that's what made them feel better, because God wanted them to stop, then hallelujah. That's what I feel good about that. I definitely think that's awesome, because God will tell us what he does displeases him. So in my personal life, he doesn't, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't want it in me. Maybe I have the ailments that I have, the problems that I have, but if he doesn't want you to use it and he's convicting your heart, stop doing it, please. Okay, guys, because that's what we're supposed to listen to. Don't listen to me. He says, believe no man. Okay. Listen to Christ inside you. So thank you again for whoever said that testimony. I hope it didn't run you off. But definitely do whatever that still voice inside, if it tells you. But please don't confuse sobriety when God is talking about being drunk or sober, he's not talking about alcohol, cannabis, opiates, or anything of that nature. He's talking about mixing sin, leaven. How do you make alcohol? You mix yeast, right, which would be leaven, right, with what? What were we talking about earlier? That will kill you. Your body's bad for you. Lower your pH, make you acidic. Sweet, easy doctrine. Yeah, that's right. Sugary, watered down milk. That's what you get. When you mix sweet doctrine with sin, you become punch drunk. You're not sober. That's right. You're drunk in the spirit. And you're not sober anymore, are you? That doesn't have anything to do with alcohol, does it? But it has everything to do with alcohol, about the parameters to make alcohol, doesn't it? Because he said you'll either be hot or cold, or I'll vomit you from my mouth, he said, right? I will throw the hypocrites, the unbelievers, and the lukewarm Christians into the lake of fire. Why? Because they're punch drunk on the cares of this world. So to be sober is to be sober in spirit. It doesn't have anything to do with the drinking of alcohol or using medicinal cannabis or using any other psilocybin. I don't use any of these, but in a medicinal form, it doesn't have anything to do with that. So don't confuse that. To be drunk in the spirit or sober-minded has nothing to do with drinking alcohol. Okay? No problems. Just, you understand? Because it's a good time to teach the lesson, because a lot of people don't understand when he says, because remember, guys, if you're going to make alcohol, there's two parameters, right? You mix the sugar with the yeast, and it's got to be what? For in order it to become alcohol, there's the parameters. Can't be too what? Or too what? It's got to be right in the what? Oh, right in that lukewarm parameter. Correct? Hallelujah. So I'm just bouncing off what you said with the lesson. So it wasn't nothing directed personally towards you. So when God says do not to be drunk in the spirit, to be sober-minded, he's not talking about alcohol. He's not talking about drinking, a beer or two or a shot of whiskey. He's not talking about using some cannabis. He's not talking about somebody's using some psilocybins or, something to that, whatever, some anything natural in its natural form, moderately. That's not what God means about being drunk, or become not sober, because he calls it to be drunken in the spirit. And again, that becomes when you mix sweet doctrine, the other Jesus that I've warned you about through the Apostle Paul, that he warned you about, and even himself. Christ Jesus said there will be many come in my name, in my Shem, in my love, in my agape, in my rules. Many will come saying their rules are frowarded and perverted. So please be careful, brothers and sisters, that you don't mix that sweet, easy doctrine with the sin, because you will become punch drunk and you will not be sober. You will not be burning bright. Your loins will not be girded in his service when he returns. That's right. You'll probably having to go back in the other direction when he comes, correct? Back to the field, back to your house, back to get oil, and you'll be going and you'll be foolish like those virgins that were foolish, correct? Because they were going in the wrong direction when he came. Okay, so please be careful, because a lot of people do not understand what the word means when it means to be drunk in the spirit. They think, oh, I can't drink any alcohol. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Excellent choice, Zazzy. Good choice. Drunkenness it's gluttony. It's very similar to gluttony. Thank you. Excellent. Drunkenness is in reference to the overuse of anything, but it is mainly just so you understand, Zazzy, so you can learn it as a whole. When you mix that sweet other Jesus, the other gospel, with sin, you've done fallen out of and you're drunk but definitely drunkenness comes from gluttony. I cannot disagree with that at all. I have zero disagreeing with that. I think that is right over in the hados. That would be in the same narrow way. God wants us to moderate, guys. Okay, so good choice. Excellent. Thank you, Zazzy. A couple good. I have been reading all your comments, but I do appreciate that, guys, and I do appreciate the conversation, because most people can't even have an adult conversation about cannabis anymore, because it's been just turned into, from what I consider, pretty much almost now a drug. And it's kind of a tragedy, because for thousands, tens of thousands, and I believe since the beginning of time, whenever that is, that cannabis has been used, and it is something that when used properly, it can help people have a completely only two genders. Yeah, I like your name. I really do. And you got to be careful in this day and age, because boy, that could be considered a crime, right? But exactly, God created one race, you guys, and that is the human race. Okay, so please remember that too. Okay, man and woman, one race, the human race. We all got to be on this rock together until he gets back here. Good is here, evil is here. It's not going anywhere. We've got to work with what we've got. You understand? We've got to work with what we've got. So we've got to remember that we need to treat people with humanity, and we need to judge people righteously. Do not condemn a brother and sister, but do not sup with vipers either. Like I said, there's parameters that God has set. Just like there's parameters it takes to make, that alcohol, to make it happen. There are parameters that he has set for you to be accepted and to be lifted into his kingdom of God. And that is, after you die, you will rise out of this corrupt dust, from the ashes or dust, whatever has happened to you, and you will be judged, and you'll be either lifted and you will rule. You'll receive an inheritance over this earth, because he's going to take the evil from this earth. Don't you understand what is going to happen when we get back? I am so excited about that time, guys. I mean, he said the skies will roll back like a scroll. The pit, the smoke will open up. Christ will come back with the key. The restrainer will be lifted, and so will the smoke will rise out of the ashes, the dust. They'll be lifted. All these things are happening. Look at all this lifting. Not a rapture. Notice there's no getting out of here before that time, is there? You be changed in the twinkling of an eye. He says he'll put 1 foot on the land and 1 foot on the sea, and time is no more. So when he comes back and he passes these fire judgments on this earth, brothers and sisters, he's going to open up the pit. He's going to open up the sky. It's going to roll back like a scroll. Can you imagine the oxygen levels on this earth? Can you imagine the plant food on this earth? CO2 is plant food, by the way. Can you imagine the CO2 levels on this earth? He's going to take evil from this earth, and he's going to reign here with us on this earth when he creates a new one and a new heaven. Right here. Not on some other spinning ball, but right here on this rock that we live on. That he says that cannot be moved from its foundation. It says that the heavens can be shaken, but it never says that it can be stirred, does it? Twisted, forwarded, spinning, and corkscrewing. You can't corkscrew and spin me through time. I don't believe in space, just so you know. I'm not falling for none of that television crap. I have celestial eyes, and I teach about these markers in the firmament, the waters that separate above and below, the waters above and below, correct? Please don't fall for the nonsense of this world, brothers and sisters. People give unto the things that they see on they tell lies to your vision, and they play visual voodoo with you. Careful, they play a lot of verbal voodoo with you as well. And now they're getting ready to play a little digital. And wait, it'll look like his celestial voodoo, but it's just visual voodoo is all it is. That's right. Little trickery, little sleight of hand, if you will. Little Starlink or Star Wars, or is it Star Trek? Or is it Nanu, Shazbot, Mork from Ork, born in an egg? You mean Cain? You mean Leviathan, that crooked serpent? So that's right, Melchizedek. Right there. Christ Jesus. Jupiter, the lion from the tribe. Leo, the lion. Remember, Disney mocks him and calls him the king, right? Lion King, get it? Blasphemy, Disney. So I hope you're not falling for this whole tobacco, guys, too, with what we got going here with this one president stepping down or something like that, or 81 million people vote for the other guy and they give you the other guy, and here we are almost 4 years later and nobody's ever once, have you ever had anybody, because I've requested, send me a video of Donald McScrooge McDuck, on his 58-story tower decorated with Apollo, the sun god. Send me any video of this guy saying that Mr. Biden is creepy Joe Biden. Instead, here we are. If he drops out of this race, he got away with it, because that's what I named this stream. He got away with it, didn't he? He did. He got away with it. Nobody ever was worried about the guy couldn't keep his hands or his nose to himself. Whatever happened to that? Boy, he sure backed down on that pretty quick, didn't he? Yeah, he had somebody running cover for him. So I hope you don't lose track or sight of what they got going here, guys. They're all on the same team. They have a hidden agenda. It always continues on. Remember, we're here on the tube. Mr. Greatest Jab Ever gave you the first, the hollow needle, the sticker, the Pokemon. Remember that game they played on everybody? Yep. The Fang. Remember? Like a viper, it puts in the bite. Oh, no, wait. See? Same thing, huh? He came in and came office, and you got the bite in, didn't you? He put the bite in, the second Fang in, didn't he? You fell for it. Nothing changed. He still wanted you to play poker so his buddy, Mr. Island Boy, could get rich. Remember? Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, still the same thing continued on. So it didn't matter if they were wearing a red hat or a blue hat, did it? You still got the bite in. Get it? Two fangs, the hollow needles, see? They know what they're doing. They're playing games like they're telling you in advance. Aren't they? In advance. Like Trump pants or Trump Vance? No, in advance, they're telling you, you've been earmarked. You've been told. Get it? I told you first. I don't know anybody else on the internet right now that is pointing out that Mr. Orange Face, Agent Orange, is the one who's very, very heavily into the red flag gun laws. That he believes in taking him first and prosecuting you later. That's right. Mr. Red Flag, who's going to come for your Second Amendment. So you mark it here. I've done this since time immemorial on this platform. I've done that since time immemorial on this platform, okay, guys? Where I say something, I'm not some kind of prophet. Again, I told you, they put this in music. They put this in halftime shows during their stupid football rituals. They put this in cartoons, kids, adults. They put it in music, Hollywood. It's not hard to see what these people are doing. If you have spiritual eyes, if he's removed this from your eyes, it's very easy to see what moves these people are going to make next. So I hope you're understanding where they're taking us, and that's why I kind of had this stream, is I was hoping to speak with somebody. Where do you think they're going next with this? They take Mr. Creepy Joe Biden. The guy couldn't keep his stinking hands and his nose to himself, for nearly 4 years. Everybody just forgot the guy is a pede, right? He's one of those. Oh my, yeah, he is. If he's doing that in public, imagine what he does behind closed doors. Yeah. So he's got somebody who ran cover for him. Okay. And he'll be back. And so you've been earmarked. Guess what you have? I told you here first. You heard it here first. If there was ever a man to take away your Second Amendment rights, it would be Mr. Thump. It's Drumpf is his family name. Trump, it was changed to Trump recently. That's not his original family name. The names were changed to play the game, to make sure every jot and every tittle would come to pass. They're not foolish. They know the word of God better than 99% of religions. That's right. Evil knows the word of God better than all Christians, probably combined. He has to play his part, and a third of the angels here with him. I hope you haven't forgotten the devil is not some leotarded, red, spiky, pokey tail, horns, and that's not the devil. That's not the Antichrist. Comes back and mirrors and performs all the same miracles and wonders as Christ. You've been deceived. You have been deceived to think that, and I've got this red devil over here and the other devil over here with the angel, with the halo. That's the Ouroboros. Anytime you see a halo, that's the serpent. That's the serpent eating its own tail, time overlapping itself, the hood, Leviathan, right? Like the cobra, get it? That's what the halo represents. It's not a good thing. So you got a fallen angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. You think one is good and one is bad. You've been deceived. You've been deceived. Seriously, it's not that hard, brothers and sisters. If you do a little spiritual homework and you start discerning these things, you can easily unveil their lies. They love to do it through their imagery and tell lies to your eyes. Soon in the skies. Sure. Visual voodoo, I told you. And it will be it'll be electric digital voodoo more than anything that's going to fool the masses next to believe there's some other kind of race here with us, or some other kind of race has made it in this firmament, when there's nothing in this firmament but except for human beings right now. There may be some giants still running around playing football, right? Bunch of millionaires chasing each other around in tights, right? Or dribbling around a ball. But there's nothing here with us. It's time to grow up. Sitting there believing in all these things coming out of the sky. The only thing that's coming out of the sky is Christ Jesus with the keys to the pit. When he lifts that restrainer, and judgments are very nigh at the door then. I hope you're not going to sit there and fall for the debauchery like they've just done with this stage with Mr. I'm dropping out of the race. Like you even had a chance, Mr. Drumpf, in 2016, did you? Or was it 20, right? Oh, wait, 81 million people vote for Donald Trump and they still gave you Joe Biden. Remember, I said he can still drop out of the race. They can still put him back in there, guys. I've already said that. Don't think that's not a possibility. Don't think that they couldn't do that to you. I said they could already do that to you. And what would you do about it? Nothing. You didn't do anything in the last 4 years. You just shut up and went along with the program, especially the thumpsters, the most. No, nobody's got their facts mixed up, man. You need to get your story straight there, because I ain't telling those stories. I'm telling you the facts. You don't like it, you don't have to stay around here. You can go somewhere else. Unless you're talking to somebody else in the chat, I don't have nothing mixed up. I'm trying to tell you that these two clowns are on the same team. Two pedos in the same pot of file, right? Yeah, that's exactly. Both been to the island. Island boys. Yep. So definitely, I would be very cautious about when Mr. Biden says he's dropping out of the race. Are they doing that just to mess with you? Are doing that to play with you? Is that the truth? Is that really what's going to happen? Is he really going to drop out of the race? Is that letter really real? Well, if he can't perform his job in the next election, what the hell is he doing as the president right now? Hello? What does that leave us? Bob Marley, speaking of can't stop smoking enough pot, Kamala Harris, now she makes people who smoke pot look bad. Yep. So it's ridiculous, guys. Who runs Obama, though? Sean, who runs Obama? I don't disagree with what you said. I think this is Obama's third term, correct? Remember, we all talked about Obama's third term. Well, there you go. Boom. You're seeing it now. You're seeing the end of it. So I couldn't disagree with you more, but somebody's pulling Obama strings too, right? So is that Hillary, or is that somebody else? Let's remember there's always somebody pulling somebody's strings at the top, right? So they're all a bunch of poly, meaning many, tick, meaning bloodsucker, politicians means many bloodsuckers. So that's all they are to me. Okay. I don't do the politics. I do history. Right. That's right. Two wings to the same dragon. Two wings to the same dragon. Two cheeks to the same hole. Correct? That's right. That's all they are, guys. So it's fun to watch, though. Isn't this amazing? How, we go from Trump being earmarked. Think about that whole incident by itself. If that proved it, this whole government is a scam, that Joe Biden's a scam, Donald Trump's a scam, Nancy Pelosi's a scam, Hillary Clinton's a scam, Governor Newsom's a scam. They're all a bunch of scam artists. This whole earmark thing, if you believe that any of this is genuine, after this whole Trump gets shot in the ear crap, then please, if you're subscribed to me, I don't care. I don't do this for money. I don't do this I haven't even monetized this channel. Shut the monetization off. I don't do it for your views. Please unsubscribe for me. If you support this crap that has got to be one of the worst things that I've seen this government do. You don't sit there and put a potential, candidate for president, knowing, and there's people pointing out, there's somebody on the roof, and he still gets out there anyways, and photo ops for 11, I don't know how many minutes he was up there doing his photo op, raising his hand and doing it. Get out of here. Please unsubscribe from this channel. I don't support people who would sit there and fall for such stupidity. I've done crowd control. I've been a military police. I've done a little bit of guarding. My brother guarded the president. My brother guarded Obama, okay? My brother was a military police like myself. Worked for Seattle Police Department, Washington, went with all the way to the top in law enforcement, okay? My youngest brother, all right? And I'm telling you, he guarded the president. That is such bull crap. I don't believe none of that. None of that. That is such a bunch of crap. And anybody who has fallen for this crap is my enemy. Is my enemy at this point. You are just the adversary to me. And if you're going to sit there and believe that they're going to let a president get up there, former president running, potential president candidate, when people are sitting there telling that there's this 20-year-old guy that was on a BlackRock commercial. Really? And who does he look like? He looks like that lady who says she's Indian. Who's the lady who says she's Indian, guys? Who's the lady who says she's an Indian? Put those two together. Who's that lady who says she's Indian? What's the Indian lady who says she's Indian? She don't look like she is, but she's in politics. She says she's Indian. No, not Pocahontas. Come on, who you guys know who I'm talking about? It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember it. I said Janet Napolitano, but that's not it. Who's the lady? She claims to be. She claims to have native Indians. Kind of a. It's not socially acceptable right now. Word. Who's that lady? She looked just like that 20-year-old guy, man. Exactly like they look like. That look like that's her son. Who is that lady who says she calls herself a native? She says she's native. Warren, thank you. Take a picture, guys. Thank you, Ryan. Take a picture of Liz Warren and take a picture of Elizabeth Warren. Thank you so much. Take a picture of Elizabeth Warren, guys, and take a picture of this crook. You guys, that looks like her son. That looks like her son. I'm telling you, they look identical. And you guys know that dude is, what kind of 20-year-old wants to shoot the president? What the hell would a 20-year-old care about the president for? I mean, see what I'm saying? Their story is just crap, man. Why would you have some 20-year-old who was in a BlackRock commercial? BlackRock, are you serious? You guys, come on, man. In the whole world stage, all these Trumpster idiots and all these Biden idiots, they're all falling for it. They're falling for it. They think it's real. And I'm telling you, from a military strategic standpoint, doing, security, doing crowd control, this would never happen. You wouldn't put somebody on stage when you had that big of a security threat, supposedly some armed person with a supposed assault rifle. And they watched him go on the roof and they already knew about him the whole time. I'm tired of this crap. How is it that every time that something happens, they watch and they already knew about these people the whole time? You guys, I'm getting tired of this nonsense, and I'm getting tired of people who sit there and fall for this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's you know what I'm saying? They hope they would unalive the orange man and then unalive the kid. Yeah, see something, I don't know. But it don't make no sense, guys. It doesn't make no sense. Hey, I don't mean to go there. Hey, we have any ladies in the room? So you guys do conspiracies, too ridiculous. No, this ain't conspiracies, okay? Take your conspiracy theory term. Do you work for the Central Intelligence Agency? Do you work for the CIA there? Because that's a term used by the CIA, a term coined by the CIA to take people to take their people's attention away from, don't look at that because it's probably true. Yeah, we were kind of all vindicated, all us conspiracy theorists after the old beer bug, huh? So, anyways, I think it's, I don't know. There's a couple ladies in here. Ask a lady if 3 inches makes a difference. I don't mean to go there, guys. I normally don't try to be a lewd, crude kind of guy, but ask a lady if 3 inches makes a difference. Better quit while you're ahead. Oh, I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. I'm 3 decades into this. They're Anonymous Incorporated. You don't know me from your hole in the backside of your split crack back there. You don't. I've been doing this for decades. I've had a YouTube channel for, nearly a decade here. So you're not going to shut me up. I'm definitely ahead of the game, aren't I? Pointing out all this idiocracy. Some 20-year-old in a BlackRock commercial is going to unalive the potential incoming president. Get out of here. And they knew he was on the roof ahead of time and they still put Trump out there. Get out of here. And he photo ops for nearly 10, 20, 15, 9, 10, 11 minutes. Raises his whole, get out of here. That's such crap. If you believe that, you'll believe anything. You'll believe this whole next debacle that you probably believe we're on a spinning ball too, right? You believe in space? I don't believe in space. So this might not be the channel for you. I don't believe in space. Okay? I don't believe in space. I don't believe in none of your nonsense that you guys sit there and take television, all the television. So, what a ridiculous debacle this whole thing was, and it just goes on. No, I don't think we've ever been to the moon. You can't land on a light, right? So it's all filmed in it. You want to debunk the moon landing, just the moon lander will debunk the whole thing. So, yep, all glory to the God. So either way, guys, it's as real. This whole thing is as real as the Easter Bunny, because I'm telling you from a standpoint, you're not going to put a president up there on stage if they knew that the Secret Service already knew about this guy and let him go up on top of that roof. Let him go up there when they were already knew about him. Come on, man. See, proof that 3 inches will make all the world of a difference. So go ask your wife tonight. Ask your girlfriend if 3 inches makes a difference. Donald Trump, it would have made all the world of a difference, wouldn't it? So let's not fool ourselves here, guys. I don't believe it for 1 second. Seriously, I don't believe it. I don't know if you're falling for it, but it's got to be one of the stupidest storylines that I've ever heard. The dude looks exactly like Elizabeth Warren. Look her up. Put those two side by side. Elizabeth Warren and this, I can't remember his first name. I remember his last name was Crook, right? Crook. Interesting choice of words there, BlackRock. But you're not going to sit there and put a child, pretty much 20-year-old. The guy doesn't look like he could fight his way out of a paper bag, let alone shoot an AR-15. He looks like a Call of Duty first-person shooter. Okay, is what he looks like. Seriously, he looks like a gamer. Is what he looks like. One of these gamers. You know what I'm saying? But the government already knew about him. So you're telling me the government knows about this guy and they let him get on a building and shoot the president? Shut the fuck up. Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't believe it for 1 second. I don't believe that crap for 1 second. I believe it was all staged. I hear your thing about MK, but I don't think that's the case in this. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it's all just a big stage. It's all just a big, because it doesn't make any sense why you'd have a 20-year-old kid try to shoot the president. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense, guys. It just stinks. I know when something stinks to high heaven, there's nothing about it that makes any sense. None of it. And if you believe any of it, you're brainwashed. It's time to unsubscribe from Predestined for Light and go find somebody else to tickle your ear somewhere else, because I'm not going to sit there and allow this to happen on my watch. I didn't say no one died in the audience, but I don't believe that he got shot in the ear. So, Top G, thank you for coming in. And what makes you think that somebody died in the audience? You don't think they have crisis actors? Their crisis actors have been gotten caught at multiple incidences. So I'm not saying that's the case, and I'm not saying in incidences that people don't die. In some of these instances, sometimes they do, absolutely. Sometimes they're not crisis actors. Sometimes they are. Like I said, it's just, but this one stinks, man. This one really does. And if somebody lost their life, I think it was a firefighter who lost their life, and my dad died in a fire, so I have a lot of respect for firefighters. But it looked very, very WWE. Thank you. That's a good analogy, Dominic. It looked very staged. Well, sure. I have visions. The bandage on his ear too. Yeah, it looks silly, like I said. So I personally, you can believe, or you can think, or you can believe whatever I want, or you want, guys, but not for everyone, any second do I believe that was even real. I just don't. I don't. There's no way you put a 20-year-old kid where the Secret Service knows about him and allows him to get on a building, and they knew about him before he had ever got up there, and then let him up there, and they knew that he was up there, and still let Trump get on stage. No. Nope. No, 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 no. Nope. How in the hell would that happen? You're going to let a president get up there, former president, after you know somebody who's being watched by the Secret Service, get up there with an AR-15 assault rifle and get up on stage, and they're sitting there pointing out that this guy's on stage. Have you seen the videos? He's over there. He's over there. They're watching him get on, and they still let him get on stage. You guys, come on, man. And believe whatever you want. Guys, that's what I'm saying. This one stinks. They pull some pretty they pull some pretty unbelievable things that are just like dropping 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes. You know, it doesn't take Common Core math to figure that one out. That doesn't add up, does it? So sometimes their stories are just, they don't add up. And in this one, why a 20? Let's just have the discussion. Why would this 20-year-old want to unalive the president? Why would this 20-year-old? Why would a 20-year-old want to unalive the president? What 20-year-old on this earth wants anything to do with the president of the United States? Well, who is politically, if you want to call that, oh, he was supposedly politically active because he made a $15 donation or something. You know what I'm saying? You know, you guys think about what I'm saying. Now, I don't know if anybody got shot or not, guys. I haven't watched it, the whole thing. I watched a little bit of it, not a lot of it. I've been doing a lot of other things, but the lady standing there filming the whole thing, she doesn't even duck. You know, she's just sitting there filming it. Everybody, you know, the whole the delay and some of the stuff, it's pretty off. Look at this. It says, now Anonymous is in here going to make threats. You talk a lot. You were in the military. Loose lips sink ships. You're really trying to keep risking your neck and that of your offspring. Keep on talking. Okay, so what are you doing? Are you threatening to kill my son or something there, Anonymous Incorporated? Are you saying that my son and my offspring is going to be killed because I won't open? Do you have any idea what I'm going through in my life right now? Or are you just one of these plants that's in here that works for the state of Oregon or works for Lake County or works for one of these alphabet soup agencies? Because I have been going through a battle with the state of Oregon. My house was recently swatted by the state of Oregon. So I don't think you know what the hell you're talking about. And I think you're just a troll. So I'll give you a little attention there, troll. What do you mean? I keep talking that I'm in the military. I have a First Amendment right. You want to know why I joined the military? So nobody could ever make me shut up. So you're not going to make me shut up. What are you threatening my son? You're saying my son is going to be threatening my offspring? You see this crap that this person came in here and put to begin with? Look at their ignorant comments, and now they're going to sit there like they care about my well-being or my son's well-being. Do you think this person even gives a crap about my son's well-being or my well-being? Do you think they really care? Genuinely in their heart, they care about me. You think that's why is that why you put your comment there, Anonymous? Well, guess what? It shows in your name, okay? It shows in your name. You're anonymous. You won't show your face. You're some keyboard warrior on the other side of the screen. but I stand up and I put my neck out there. I have, being a veteran, obviously not afraid to put my life on the line. So I don't know where you're going with this, Anonymous, but I think it's time you might want to exit stage right with your stupid flags, your red flag crap that you put there. That was dumb. So yeah, it was hot in the Pacific Northwest. It almost hit 100 here today. I think it was like 98 or something like that. It's pretty hot today. I was running around earlier on the live stream without my shirt on, guys. I apologize. It was just too darn hot. So either way, yeah, it's starting to cool off right now. It's feeling pretty good. So, but either way, I want you to know that just in my opinion, I'm not falling. You're in Eugene. Cool. All right. My son's over there near you. He's over there in Lane County as well. So I got family down there in Cresswell and Cottage Grove and all over Lane County. Some of them in Brownsville, whatever. That's Lynn County, isn't it? But anyways, my son's girlfriend, wife, she's up there in Albany. So over there on the other side of the mountain. So I like it over there. It's just too many people. I really like the trees and stuff over there and the really lush forest, but too many people up that I-5, up and down that I-5 corridor for me. But that's okay. Eugene's it's a beautiful place. It's not the outskirts of Eugene. I don't like the city of Eugene anymore too much, but it's a neat place to visit. It's a good place to visit. It's just like anything else now for me. I live way out in the country, and I live on 40 acres. I don't have any neighbors, and yeah, but you know but the liberals in Eugene, Conduit, are not they're not the same like liberals that most people would think, because I've lived, in Lane County for many years. I used to run Lanecountychoppers. Okay, so I worked for IPMG, Investment Property Management Group, over there in Oregon, over on that side of the mountain for a long time. The liberals in Eugene are not like the liberals you think, guys. These people, like, if you don't believe in what we believe in, and they're like, oh, well, I call them like they're like granolas. Okay. And I don't want to just put a label on somebody, but I want to try to tell you that in Eugene, they're a special kind of liberal. Okay. Because a liberal means that they're open-minded, correct? You're open-minded. You're liberal. That's not what the people that are liberal in Eugene. They're kind of all the same. They're kind of like hipster granolas who drive around Subarus, and Conduit will be like, yep. And they all they all wear their Birkenstocks, and they all kind of have their hipster job, and they all, and they're hippie granola type liberal. And if you don't believe exactly what they believe, you're the bad guy. That's not a liberal. So, but am I wrong about it? No, I'm saying, but I'm wrong about how all those people call themselves liberals in Eugene, and they're not liberal. They're like this narrow scope of yuppie, hippie, granola type of, they're like a clean, modern hippie kind of guys, if that makes sense, So I've never seen that anywhere else other than Eugene. You know what I'm saying? And they all drive a Subaru, an Outback or something like that. So, but either way, there are people who are liberal in Eugene over there, and very far left. Eugene is very far left. That would be a better way to put it, like he said. So, granola, just kind of like hippie, that's what I meant by granola. It's like hippie, kind of, so, but they're still very left. We'd have to put it that way. They're kind of left. They're not to the right, conservative. They're more to the left, and they're supposed to be liberal, but they're not very liberal because they don't see. The Liberal Party was very open-minded at one point in time. To be liberal means you have an open, but these people don't, if you're not in their hipster, clean, a clean hippie. I thought hippies were dirty, stinky hippies, but they're like a clean hippie is what they're like, a clean hippie hipster, that drives the Subaru again and it's got those, clothes at the Goodwill slash, it might wear a button up shirt or something or like a top, but it is what it is. And so a little bit of that too. That's what I'm saying. They're kind of like a mixed breed. Okay. And this is only in Eugene, guys. I've never seen people who call themselves liberals who put this narrow scope on themselves anywhere other than Eugene, Oregon. Anywhere. I've been to all 50 states. I've lived in Alaska. I've lived in Hawaii. I've been to every major city in the United States of America, guys. I've seen this country. Okay. I've been outside the country, and I'm telling you, nothing like you've never seen a liberal in Eugene, Oregon. So they're definitely different. And every day is Halloween here. That's another great way to put it out there, guys. Every day it is just a big, you're filthy. Yeah, I've been to like I said, I've been to every state. I've been to every major city in the U.S. I haven't lived in every state, but I have been to every state, traveled through, been to every single, every city in the U.S. Again, I have also been out and lived in Alaska. So I've been in, lived in, been to all the lower 48. Cool. Yep. That's what they call you if you live in Alaska. And if you live in Hawaii, they call it the mainland. So ought to try Pittsburgh. Used to be blue collar, now tech hippies. There we go. That would be another good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Like Ern K said, that would be another kind of a way that some of the Eugene people are kind of like tech hippies. That'd be another way to put it. Good way to put it. So maybe they are in other places too, I'm saying, or starting to, I prefer the northern states because I like cold over heat. Cool. Yeah. It's definitely, I like Oregon because we have all 4 climates in the state of Oregon. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. We've got every bit of climate here in this state. It's very unique just because it's where it's at. Definitely one of the most beautiful states of the nation. There are some beautiful places throughout the country. It's not just Oregon, but Oregon's kind of a unique place as far as it has very separate, for like I live over here in the high desert, conduits over there in a more lush, the forest over there in Eugene are kind of like jungles, ferns and mushrooms. The forest floor is so thick and black and rich with pine needles, and it is definitely not like over here in the high desert. High desert, we have, I'm in the high desert off the tree line. So we got the straight, I'm at 4,500 feet. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here right off the tree line. I go right into the Cascades and be in that, anything from Scotch pine, blue pine, spruce, fir, Douglas, get down lower and you get down into some of the juniper over in this part of it. It's just, you've got up near Portland, you've got near Medford, the whole state's completely diverse. We have just about every single kind of, oh yeah, there's lots of mountains. We've got the Cascade Range that runs right through the whole state. Okay. And that runs all the way through, obviously from Washington, all the way down in through, Idaho, Utah, all that comes down through, that touches a little bit of that in there. It goes all the way down into Colorado, into the Cascades, down into the Rockies. So definitely we're out to Boise. Okay, cool. You went over there to like through Brothers. See, I'm out here in Silver Lake. I'm about almost 2 hours from Boise. It would be about the same from, what was it, about when I lived in Nampa, it was about the same to Boise when I lived. I like to live away from the bigger city. So I live about 2 hours from Bend, Oregon. Well, no, we're generally not a liberal state. It's just the west side of the state over there near Portland and Eugene is very liberal. Most of the state is not liberal. Um, I'm not in the dark. I live off the grid. Okay. My lights are high ceilings. They're over the top of my head. I don't need to whole light my whole house up. So yeah, a couple hours from Ben is where I'm at. So it's because I live in Silver Lake. I don't live in Christmas Valley, Oregon. I live in Silver Lake, Oregon. So a couple hours from the city out here in the high desert. And I'm not too far from Anna Reservoir and not too far down the road. It's about an hour and a half or something like hour away is Crater Lake from here. It's not too far away from me. Bruce Willis lives in Oregon still, right? Huh. Cool. Yeah. I got a pretty good spot out here. Like I said, if I can run these corrupt cops out of this town that I live in, this place just made the largest dark sky sanctuary in the world, guys. There is 2.5 million acres set apart out of the light belt out here. And the view of the stars out here is not like anything I've ever seen in any other state. And I've lived in Alaska. Like I said, I've been much more northern, in latitude. I've been up to Dead Horse, been up to pretty much the top there, the pole, the North Pole up there at the top at Dead Horse. And I've never seen the stars like I've seen them in this state. And where I'm at is unbelievable. The sunsets out here would knock your socks off sometimes. The sunrises sometimes are just as dramatic as the sunsets. So you get this amazing sunrise in the morning sometimes. It is just fabulous. And it's to live in North Pole, Alaska. So Moose Creek. So not too far down from Santa's house. But anyways, Alaska, right? It lit up the northern right. So yeah, but I don't know if you guys got to see the Northern Lights down here, man. We had the Northern Lights here in Oregon. They were absolutely to die for. Up there in Alaska, and they were really pretty out here. They were nothing like they were. Is it always colder? No, not where I'm at. Like I said, we've been doing, like I said, it's been hot because it's summer. It's been in the 90s. It's been in the 90s during the day and dropping down into the 40s overnight. So it's been nice and cool. That's what the high desert does. You have hot days and cool nights, which is kind of nice because you cool off. Like a lot of places back east, it's just muggy all night long. It'll stay 100 degrees all night long. It doesn't do that out here in the desert. It cools off in the desert, so your body temperature can come down, guys, which is nice. So, because like I said, I go outside right now, I can feel a chill because I've been hot all day and the cold air is coming in, and I let the cabin do that. I open up the doors and I leave the windows at night and open everything up and let it get as cold as possible in here. And then in the morning time, I come in and I shut up all the windows and try to keep it, until 1 o'clock or something like that. It stays fairly decent here. I have a metal roof on the cabin, so it does get hot. I want to do some more work on this rusty cowboy cabin here, but I'm just overwhelmed with all the other things going on in my life. But eventually I'll put another roof on this building. And I just did the kitchen roof the other day. I did its work in here, and that made a pretty big difference too. As well is no, I built on my own house. I built this house. This house is built out of all repurposed materials. This is all old boards. Some of these boards, most of these boards behind me, I know they like there, but most of them are 10 and 12. That's like a 10-inch board, 12-inch board. They're not 2x4s. That's actually a 6, an 8, a 12. They're not. I only have just a couple small boards in this whole build. A lot of them are very large, like these ones over here, 16-inch boards, 18-inch boards. These are all very old. Some of them are hundreds of years old that I used inside here. This is the shower room back here. I live off the grid. I make my own power. I've got my own power inverter. This is all solar, or this is wind, and this is all solar. So I make all my own power, and I built my own place out of nothing. So it's all repurpose. that's how I do it. I repurpose I don't think you can see the kitchen. You got lots of food in the kitchen there, but here's the kitchen area here. I redid the ceiling that I was telling you, re-insulated all this ceiling. There's the kitchen area in there, all the beams and all that area in here. But anyways, yeah, like I said, these are all old, very old boards. Everything in this, there's nothing new in this cabin. Not one new board in the whole build. Nothing new. My fireplace, I built all my own fireplace hearth. This is the fireplace. That's got I built that fireplace hearth all out of pavers. So I'm not using the wood stove right now, but there's the wood stove. This is what you set you guys on. Here's my other little mini buckwood stove here, my sampler stove that sits in front of me. I'm kind of weirdo. I like weird, old, and rusty things. We're a little dusty out here. I don't have a housewife, so my bad. It's just been busy working on the other cabins. I've been building other cabins out here, guys. So I built a cabin out, a few years ago. Was it 3 or 4 years ago? And right now I've been working on the Rusty Dragon. Purple Freeze, good to see you for coming in. Yeah, this is how I live. I live by repurposing and building and turning what people throw into trash or turn into their burn pile and turn it into a home. So it's not for most people, but it is my home. And I built it, like I said, I built it all by the sweat of my brow. These hands, these are working hands. These are calluses. That's how I make my way, is by earning my keep, guys, by I don't have a source of income. I'm a veteran. I've been honorably discharged out of the United States military in the 90s. I received my honorable discharge, and I've been self-employed for many years. I'm a horse trader. I barter and I trade. I've had, a CDL since I've been 21. Yeah, I've just been busy. Like I said, Purple Freeze, I've been trying to get that Rusty Dragon built out so that I can get a stream of income coming in, so that I can get someone, like I said, so I keep the bills paid out here. I got 45 acres of land that I pay on still, just like everybody else. I got bills just like everybody else. I don't get, actually, it's so crazy how many people out here get Social Security. And I don't get any SSI or any SSD. I don't get any income. People are so young these days. Like, people are in their 20s getting Social Security. I'm like, whoa, man! I paid Social Security since I was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? And then I fought for 7 years to get Social Security and still didn't get it, because I won't tell them that I'm mental. But I might think about going for some PTSD after the COVID. So. Somebody asked a question how long it took to build this. I think this took me about six months overall. I first came in and I moved in and I built the fireplace in the middle of the building. And then I started building out, the kitchen area. And then I built a bathroom in the kitchen area. The very last thing I built was my bedroom in the back. I mean, I actually had a bed back there. I had a bunk bed back there for a while, but I took that out and built a lofted bedroom back there. And I built a library, a shelf, shelving, a raised bed up off the ground. Yeah, it took me about 6 months to complete this build. I've been working since the winter on the Rusty Dragon, and I gave myself until the first of the month to finish it. So I better get off here and not stay on this here too long, guys, and get to bed, because I get up early in the morning. I get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I get out there, and I've been getting out there a little late, about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I need to get my butt up and get out there at 5, make my coffee a little sooner. Sometimes I go out and don't eat any breakfast, and then I'll work for about an hour or two. My stomach will say, it's time to get something to eat, and I'll come in and eat a little bit. But I've been having to work around the weather because it's just been getting too hot. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to work around the heat, you know. So that's that greatest God's greatest weapon, his son, you know, not the SON, but the SUN. It's getting hot, guys. It's a really white sun, and it's not the same sun it was. You know, I'm gonna kind of get to be an old man here, and it's not the same sun that is yeah, I love that time too, Conduit in the morning. It's my favorite time of the day, man. Get up early. 3 o'clock. I'm always up at 3. I don't know what it is. I got to stop doing that, guys. I got to stop doing this to myself. I don't know what it is about waking up in the morning, because I wake up and I got to pee. I drink water. I've always got water with me. It's very seldom do you see me and I don't have water in my hand or somewhere nearby. I drink a lot of water, like I can't go to bed without water. But so I do get up in the bathroom and I do wake up and I do. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Zazzy. All glory to the Father. Yeah, I'm about the same, Freeze. I sleep about 4 hours a night, because by the time I get up and go pee, and maybe I get on my phone or whatever for a minute or whatever, just to burn some time, try to make myself tired. And sometimes I tell myself I won't do that. I'll just lay back down. I generally don't get that kind of rest at night. So I don't really reach a REM and I don't sleep like that. But I can definitely tell you that here in the last, I don't know, it's been about 2 to 3 years now, anytime, and I don't care what time of night it is, if I roll over, because I built a thing, because I live in a lofted bed, I built a shelf to put my phone and my drink and stuff away from my head, so I don't have to, you know, I don't care what time it is. You guys has anybody else been doing this too? And it's not the first time I've been able to do this in my life, okay? But I've been getting up, and I don't care if it's like 1:13, I get up and it'll be like 1:15. I'll get up and it'll be like 2:47. It'd be like 2:49. I've been getting it within 5 minutes, guys, and I don't care, because I don't sleep like most people. I pass out and then I wake up. I go back to sleep and I pass out and then I'll wake back up. I've been getting it within 5 minutes, and it's scaring the living crap out of me. It's scaring the living crap out of me, because I haven't got it wrong and I don't know how long. Like, I'm telling you, and then I wake up a lot of odd times of the night. I mean, I have my 3 o'clock wake up or whatever, 3:20, 3:30, 3:40 or whatever, because I generally use the bathroom at that time for some reason. So I can normally pick that one, but man, oh man, I've been up and down a lot. And I'm telling you, every time I roll over, okay, so I'm not the only one, man. It's weird, because I can kind of do it in the day, right? Because I know where the sun is at. So it's not that hard to tell what time it is during the day. I can normally do that during the day. That's not a big thing. But waking up in the middle of the night now for the last couple years, it's been a couple years. It really has been a couple years. I cannot believe how much time has slipped by. And man, I'll roll over. I'll be like 4:14. 4:14. So, 4, you know. So I'm good to know that I'm not the only one that keeps happening to, man. I keep nailing that thing too. And the way I sleep, it's not like I'm, you know, I'm not sleeping a full 8 hours. I don't sleep more than a couple, 2, 3 hours at a time. I haven't slept a full 4, 5, 6 hours, full night of rest in 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that, but I was sleeping with my hand over my head, and I quit doing that. You know what I'm saying? I quit sleeping with my hand over my head. I used to do that because it would open up my lungs, made me breathe a little bit easier. But one day I woke up, man, and my arm hurt for 2 months. I cannot sleep with my hand over my head anymore. Man, oh man, even when I catch myself, I'll be doing, oh, oh, my shoulder hurt for 2. I've never had no shoulder pain like that before. I mean, I've wrecked my shoulder or whatever, but I broke my actual rotator, you know, any of that. That hurts. So I don't sleep with my hand over my somebody told me that when I was younger, they're like, if you put your hand over your head, it'll open up your lungs and you'll be able to sleep and breathe a little easier. I was like, oh, interesting. So well, that does work. And I got used to doing it. And I slept like that for decades until one night. Like I said, I woke up and my shoulder hurt so bad. I said, I can never do that again, because it hurt for probably 3 or 4 months. My shoulder hurt. I don't know what I did to that. And I know I just slept on it wrong. So, but I'm glad that I do, like I said, do get some sleep, because I've gone before in my life where I really don't get any sleep at all, but maybe 1 or 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? But all right, guys, let's wrap that up. I got the best moderator. If you guys have a channel and you need a good moderator, Lady in Red is the best moderator on YouTube. Always dropping links to my PayPal. Always dropping links to my Cash App, guys. Appreciate anybody. If you can help out, great. I've got some, I have needs, just like anybody else. Somebody gave me a $20 super chat. I won't get that until next month for the dog food, but because I'm down to my last bag of dog food, and I'm going to have to get my puppy some food. My puppy is not in good shape, guys. I finally got Tango back. Okay, Mr. Pants is laying right over here. Where are you at, Pants? There's my boy. And Mr. Tago is laying over there. So I've got both my puppies back, but Tango's in rough shape, guys. I need to get him back on the diamond lamb and rice, guys. Okay, so that's what I feed the dogs, and I think that's maybe what's happened to him. And I know he was probably super stressed without his dad, because he's got some separation disorder. So it's good to have my dog back home. I feel much better with my dog. Obviously, it was been really bothering me the last couple weeks. I was really hoping to get him back, and I didn't. And that's one of the reasons where I didn't want you guys to feel negativity that I was going through without my animal. I was feeling very alone out here, guys. The guy just kept putting me off and putting me off and putting me off. And so it was really dragging down. And I didn't want to get in here and you guys have you feel that vibe stream for the last couple of weeks too, because it was just hard. I was feeling very distressed, not having both my dogs here. I'm just not used to not having my dog. Tango has been around Pants, and they've always been around each other. Yotter, since they were, Yotter is 4 years old. Tango's 13, and I've never. I was here with just Pants, and it was hard because Pants was getting stressed out. Yotter boy was, wanting his brother, and yeah, he feels so much better now, huh? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. You feel better now that your brother's here, huh? Yes, you do. His eyes are so different, guys. I knew he's changed so much. He is so much better with his brother here. Oh, I love this guy. I love this guy. I love him. I just love these guys. So thank you guys for your support. I really do appreciate the emotional support, guys. Even if you can't help out financially, that's totally all right with me. God always provides. And like I said, I have land for sale. As Lady in Red dropped a link, I've got actually 2 pieces of property. I have a 20-acre parcel that I'm selling. I've got a 5-acre parcel that I'm selling. I've got motorcycles, generators, snow blowers. I've got a lot of work. I've got a lot of things up for sale. So I'm not just sitting out here trying to do nothing, sitting on my tail. I went and cleared out 3 of whatever these storage areas and pulled out whatever I could and went out in the heat of the day. I worked for 4 or 5 days pulling stuff out, and then went out and sat on the side of the road for a couple of days in the local town, and the heat. It was pretty hot, but so that I can get and pay the bills out here. So appreciate it. I made it. I got the land payments paid this month. They're coming due again, but my major concern is get some more dog food for my puppies, because I want to get my dog better and better shape. His whole tail is eaten off. Like I said, I picked him up. He had ticks all over him. He's just in rough shape, guys. He's just not doing as good. I'm worried about him. He looks he looks like he's still kind of stressed. Not like that. I mean, he's happy to be with me because I can tell he just keeps looking. He's laying there on the ground and he just keeps looking up at me like I'm here. I'm home with dad. I'm home with dad. Like when I tell him even when I'm making his dog food bowl, guys, he doesn't even get up. He just stares at me and looks at me. So, thank you so much, Zonaki. I appreciate it. Every penny helps. So I'll definitely probably throw that towards some dog food come next month, because I won't get paid on any of the super chats until the following month. And to be honest with you guys, since I had this legal issue, that's my power. Let me know my power's down a little bit. I just turned off the monetization on this channel. So I haven't made any financial gains or anything from this. And because I was doing it as evidentiary streams, and I didn't feel right to be making money off of my streams and then potentially have them to interrupt if they had to go through and look at some of these streams as I was doing evidentiary streams. And so I turned the monetization off on this channel. So it's been kind of a struggle, to be honest with you, because I didn't think that I would get some financial support, but I was hoping that God would help, and help provide for me to get this, so I could get some legal, not to pay my bills. I don't want anybody to pay bills. I normally can do that, but to get some legal counsel. And I've been 52 days now and nothing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The Lord will provide when he's ready. The Lord is my shepherd, Psalms 23, I shall not want, right? He leads me through, green pastures, right? He's my rock. He's my sword. He's my salvation. He's my staff, right? He's my protection. So I know that whenever that I need, that he'll provide. So maybe I won't need any money and they'll drop this case. I have a court date coming up this week, and maybe they'll drop all these cases. Okay? So by the glory of God, whatever God wants to happen, that's what I pray for. If you have me in your prayers, would you please pray for God's will for me? If God wants me to get run over by a truck or stay in the world for another 50 years, will you please do not pray for anything other than God's will for me? If you have me in your prayers, because I know there are people who do pray for me, and I appreciate that. Pray for God's will for me. Whatever he wants, I don't want to get in the way of that, okay? So that's why I know that I've been able to settle myself here, even though I've tried as hard as I can to push as hard as I can, and the things aren't working the way that I'm trying. This is the way that God wants them, and if he wanted them any different, they would be that way. Kind of like I could use a good partner in my life, but I'm more alone than I've ever been. The only person that I have in my life is my son. If you watch this channel, you know that. And now I have a no contact order with my son. So I'm all alone now. I don't have anybody. So it was hard not coming on here for a couple weeks, just so you know. And like I said, because you guys are all I got. And now I don't have anybody, So I appreciate the support that you guys give me, the emotional support, and those people who pray for me. And when I think about when I'm not on this platform, I tell myself, I know there's people thinking about you, Tracy. I know either you haven't heard from any, nobody's emailed you, and you're getting lonely out here because you're all by yourself. But there are people who care about you, Tracy, and God will provide when the time is right. He'll provide the things you need. So you never go without. You're a blessed man. And I don't need to do anything in my life, guys. So I've already lived the life that I want to live. I'm living for him now, and he's keeping me here because there's one word that keeps me in this world, and it's not by my own choice, because I don't want to be here anymore, especially now that I don't know if I'll ever talk to my son ever again. And that's hard, guys. It's really hard to think that I don't know when or if I'll ever get to talk to the only person that I talk to on a regular basis, and not on a regular basis. And now I can't even talk to him. So God has stripped me back as far as he can strip me back, guys. You are seeing me at my ultimate worst. And I'm not saying that he couldn't drag me down any further, but he's taken everything from me other than this property. I mean, he can take my freedom, I guess, but I was already in jail for a while. But I don't think I'm going back to jail. I don't think that's what's going to happen to me. I don't think they even have their case is very weak. Um, and so hopefully they'll be dropping it soon. And that's why that I don't need this, and God will provide a way. So, but if God wants me to go be imprisoned, then go ahead and pray for God to put me in prison. You know what I'm saying? Whatever God wants for me, don't get in the way of God's will. Because what he's doing with me and what he's doing in my life is definitely bigger than just me, and it's bigger than my son. Obviously, you've been watching these live streams. This has been a rough patch for me. These last, 6 months, couple of years have been just something else. I'll never ever forget these days. I'll never forget these days. Okay, so. But thank you for being a part of my life, guys. Okay, because I don't really have very many people that I get to have contact with. I live way out in the middle of nowhere by my choice, and sometimes I don't. Again, I've gone, 6 months without talking to another human being, and it gets a little lonely. Imagine going 6 months without not talking to somebody. It gets tough at times. So I'm trying not to ever let myself get into that position again. And I'm thankful that God has provided me with this platform so that I can come in here when when my spirits aren't too low, because I don't want her to rub off on you guys. I won't come on this platform if I'm struggling like that, guys. I'll stay off the platform. And I have been struggling the last couple of weeks. Like I told you, I missed my dog. I didn't know if I was going to get him back. And I was trying to accept that I wouldn't have my dog of 13 years and I had to be out here alone with my other dog. And it stripped me back, guys. I never felt so alone in my life. I'm not kidding you. I've never felt so isolated and so alone. So I just didn't want to come in here and spread that on you guys. I really didn't want, I live off grid. I'm off the grid. There we go. There's my power inverter. Just, we had a lot of smoke today, and so it didn't get the sun, so my power down I still got power, but it's hit the low warning. So, all right, guys, much love. But I do want to tell you, I appreciate everybody that's been there to emotionally support me. Okay, guys, because again, it's a lonely world that I live in. Really is. I don't know why God did this to me, but this is what he wants for me. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I do love you guys, and I can't thank you enough for like I said, for your emotional support, because there were a couple people who showed up after this happened, but they faded away really quick, guys. And that always happens. I've had enough of these events like this happen in my life to know. And I told the people, I appreciate you helping, like that, what I'm not talking about like financial help or something, but help. But it's like, if you fade off, it's okay. I'm not going to sit there and expect you to be around the whole time or whatever. And sure enough, anybody that was pretty much helping me is now gone. And it was short lived, oh, you got out of jail and I'm sorry. And then, like I said, it was just like everybody faded away. So that kind of got me down for a couple weeks. Like I said, it just wasn't, my phone won't ring sometimes again for weeks on end. And it got me down. So I didn't want to come in here and, make a thing of it. And, I was busy out here though. I'm not just sitting here on my butt. Okay. So, I do love you guys, and I do appreciate all the support you give me. And I want to take the time before I shut the stream down to thank you so much for your support, both through your comments, your continued subscription to the channel, and dealing with some of the things that I have to deal with. So I have CashApp and I have a PayPal. If you want to support this channel, you can do it that way. If not, I'll see you guys again on the next live stream. I cannot thank you enough for your time this evening, and I hope that stay in the Word of God. Remember, he said, be in this world, but be not of it. So hover over the Word of God. Okay? Iron sharpens iron. I'll try to come back here on a little bit more regular basis now. I'm starting now that I got my dog back. I'm feeling better. Okay, guys. Things just feel very lonely out here without him. You know what I'm saying? I just felt so different without your dog. You had a dog for 13 years. He wasn't here, so he's back. So I'm doing better. And you have my word, I'll start live streaming more. I'm starting to come back out of this haze, so to speak. Not like that. I just a little lonely. I just started working really hard and getting up early and just focusing on on getting some of the things that I need done. So you guys are the best. Thank you, Lady in Red. You're the best moderator on YouTube. I don't know anybody can even come close to you. Not that I don't love all my other moderators, but what an asset to the channel. Okay. All right. Much love, guys. I'll see you on the next live stream. Always agape. I am Apocalypse. I am Revelation. Whoa.